I'll never forget the look in her eyes when she handed me the papers. Correction, threw them at me, like I was some lowlife she couldn't wait to get rid of. This is over, Sam, she snapped. I want a divorce. And I'm taking half. Of everything. She punctuated each word like a punch. There was no grief in her voice. No sadness, no trembling lips, no teary eyes. Just arrogance. Cold, calculating arrogance. She had rehearsed this. That much I could tell. I sat there in silence, holding the papers with her name signed neatly at the bottom. Rebecca L. Connors. She'd reverted to her maiden name already. That told me more than anything else she had planned this long before she ever uttered a word. You don't even look surprised, she said. I didn't. Because I wasn't. Rebecca thought she was playing chess, but the truth is, she had been dancing in a cage I built myself, one lined with evidence and patience. I'd known for months that something was off. I just waited for her to make her move. She thought she won. That was her mistake. She had no idea I already knew about Michael. Her little boyfriend. The one who'd been creeping into my house and using my bed. And soon, everyone would know too. But I didn't raise my voice. I didn't curse her. I didn't tear up the papers. I just smiled and said the one thing I knew would shake her more than anything. Okay. Let's do this your way. She left that day with her head high. That was the last time she'd feel like she had the upper hand. It wasn't always like this. I remember the early days with Rebecca. She was beautiful, sharp, and charming, dangerously so. The kind of woman who could walk into a room and make heads turn without even trying. And she chose me. That's what I used to tell myself. We met at a networking gala. I had just closed my first major real estate deal, and I was riding high. She was there as a friend's guest, dressed in that red dress I'll never forget. We got to talking, her wit matched mine, and before I knew it, we were inseparable. Things moved fast. Too fast, maybe. 6 months in, we moved in together. By the end of the year, we were married. At first, it was great. We laughed a lot. Went on trips. Built routines. She even helped out with some of my business tasks, nothing too complicated, but enough to feel involved. That's what she said she wanted, to be part of the empire I was building. But somewhere along the way, things shifted. She stopped asking about my day. Stopped helping. Started spending more. Expensive clothes, spa days, girls' weekends. I didn't question it much at first. I was doing well. What kind of husband would I be to restrict her from enjoying herself? But it wasn't just the spending. It was the disconnect. She started coming home late, claiming it was book club or drinks with Lisa. But Lisa had a baby and didn't go out past 8 p.m. Rebecca started sleeping with her phone under her pillow. Password changed. Always texting. Always laughing at messages she wouldn't let me see. I wasn't stupid. I just didn't want to believe it. Then there was the perfume. One night, she came home smelling like cologne that wasn't mine. Her hair was a mess, lipstick smudged. She said her Uber driver had cologne that lingered. I wanted to believe her, but something inside me screamed that I shouldn't. So I stopped asking. And I started watching. Because if she was going to treat me like a fool, the least I could do was collect the truth. If you want to catch a liar, you don't confront them. You observe them. I started small, installed a basic home security system. Cameras in the hallway, living room, and entrance. Rebecca didn't ask questions, she thought it was for protection. She didn't know I had one more hidden camera installed in the bedroom. I told her I was upgrading the HVAC system and needed to check airflow with a temporary cam. She didn't blink. She never suspected a thing. The first week. Nothing. The second. She brought Michael over. At 2:17 p.m. on a Wednesday. I was watching remotely from my office. They didn't even hesitate. Straight to the bedroom. My bedroom. He walked in like he owned the place, like he belonged there. She giggled like a teenager sneaking around with her high school crush. I wanted to punch the screen. But instead, I recorded everything. Saved it to 3 external drives. Uploaded it to a private cloud folder. Watermarked copies. Time-stamped. I had a lawyer friend look it over and tell me what I could use in court without crossing lines. He said, "This isn't just adultery, Sam. This is a textbook case of malicious intent." But I didn't stop there. I hired a private investigator. Someone discreet. He trailed her for a month. Followed her to hotels, brunches, his apartment. Took photos. Logged call records. Even recorded a conversation between Rebecca and Michael where she said, and I quote, "Once I get the divorce, I'll take half his stuff, and we'll move out of this dump. Sam won't know what hit him." She laughed. He laughed. Like it was all just a game. Like I was the fool. Like I was already defeated. But see, that's where they went wrong. They thought I was sitting at home clueless while they plotted. No. I was building the case that would destroy them. After I had everything, the videos, the audio, the private investigator's detailed report, I did something they never expected, nothing. Not a word. Not a slip. Not even a sideways glance. I kissed Rebecca goodnight, just like always. I asked about her day, feigned interest in her stories, and let her believe I was the same old trusting husband she'd married. The truth? I was giving her rope. And she kept wrapping it around her own neck, tighter and tighter. She got bolder, started staying out overnight. Claimed it was a retreat with the girls. Girls she never posted about. I knew where she really was, Michael's apartment in Midtown. I had video proof of her entering the building and leaving in the same dress the next morning, hair messy, heels in hand. I even saw the text she sent him while she was sitting on the couch next to me. Soon. Once the papers are signed, we'll be free. I wondered what she thought freedom would look like. Champagne toasts. Beachfront getaways with my money. A shiny new life with a man who had no job and lived off his sister. I admit, part of me wanted to explode. To shout, "How could you do this to me?" But that's not who I am. That's who she is. Me. I'm patient. And when I strike, I don't miss. So I waited. I let her file first. She probably thought it made her look in control. She strutted around the house in her silk robes, humming like she'd already won. She had her lawyer send me a letter detailing her demands, 50% of all assets, the house, and even spousal support. Support. From me. For cheating on me in my bed. I didn't argue. Didn't contest. I just nodded and said, "All right. If this is what you want, let's go to court." She smirked. That smug little smirk I used to find sexy. I couldn't wait to wipe it off her face. The courtroom smelled of old wood and fresh egos. Rebecca walked in wearing her best designer outfit, white blouse, tight pencil skirt, heels tall enough to tower over the truth. Michael wasn't with her, of course. She had to play the innocent wife in public. Her lawyer was sharp. Confident. Young. He strutted like he was about to win the case of his life. They looked at me like I was a lamb being led to slaughter. But I wasn't there to survive. I was there to end this. Rebecca sat across from me at the long table, flipping through her copy of the documents like she was already counting her half of everything. When the judge asked for opening remarks, her lawyer stood and launched into a rehearsed monologue about betrayal, emotional neglect, and Rebecca's rightful share of the life we built together. She supported him emotionally through years of workaholism, he said dramatically. She gave up her own ambitions for the marriage. Lie. She hadn't worked a single day since our honeymoon. She now seeks a fair and equal distribution of marital assets, including the home, vehicles, financial investments, and ongoing support. The judge nodded, scribbling notes. Then it was my turn. I stood calmly, buttoned my jacket, and spoke clearly. Your Honor, before we proceed with the division of assets, I have material evidence relevant to this case, evidence regarding adultery and malicious intent to defraud me during this divorce process. Rebecca's head snapped to me so fast, I almost laughed. Her lawyer objected immediately. Irrelevant. This is a no-fault state. It speaks to intent, Your Honor, I said, handing a labeled USB drive to the clerk. And to the character of the plaintiff. The judge took a pause, inserted the drive, and told everyone to watch the screen in the courtroom. Silence. Then the video played. Rebecca, Michael, in our bed. Laughing, kissing. Saying things no spouse should hear. The moment her voice said, "Once I get the divorce, I'll take half his stuff," I turned to look at her. Her face crumbled. Her lawyer fumbled through papers, whispering, "Did you know about this?" She didn't answer. She was too busy turning ghost white. The judge stopped the video halfway through. "I've seen enough," she said firmly. The courtroom murmured. Rebecca looked like she was about to faint. Her lawyer tried to recover, saying, "This shouldn't influence the equitable division," but the judge shut him down. "No, but it certainly speaks to intent to defraud." "And any request for spousal support?" "Denied. Permanently." Rebecca finally spoke. "Wait, what? This is being twisted." "You twisted it yourself," I said quietly. "On my bed. With your boyfriend." "The final ruling?" "I kept the house. I kept my assets. No alimony. And the best part? The judge granted me a motion for damages due to the deliberate scheme and emotional fraud." She walked in expecting a payout. She walked out owing me. The courthouse doors shut behind me with a finality that felt almost poetic. I didn't smile. I didn't gloat. I just breathed. For the first time in months, maybe even years, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long time: relief. Rebecca had walked in with a smirk and a plan. She left with public humiliation, her lies exposed, and a legal ruling that left her penniless. The look on her face when that video played, like her soul had been yanked out of her chest, will be burned in my memory for the rest of my life. And yet, it wasn't over. Not for her. Not yet. 2 days after the trial, I heard from a mutual friend that Michael had dumped her. Just like that. No goodbye. No explanations. Just silence. Apparently, once he realized she wasn't getting a dime, he lost all interest. Turns out, the man she threw her marriage away for, who whispered sweet promises in her ear while lying on my sheets, didn't even stick around to help her pick up the pieces. He used her, just like she tried to use me. She moved out of the apartment within a week. Rumor has it she's crashing at a friend's place, sleeping on a futon, trying to figure out what to do next. No money. No job. No plan. She'd been so confident. So sure she could manipulate her way into the next phase of her life. But the only thing waiting for her there was reality. I wasn't surprised when my phone rang at 1:17 a.m. that Sunday night. Blocked number. But I knew who it was. I let it ring out the first time. And the second. But the third time, I answered. "Sam." Her voice cracked like she hadn't spoken in hours. "It's me. Please don't hang up." I didn't speak. I just wanted to say I'm sorry," she began. "I messed up. Michael. He lied to me. He used me. He told me everything would be different once I left you. But he's gone now. I have nothing." There it was. She still didn't understand. She didn't say sorry for cheating. She didn't say sorry for scheming. She was sorry for losing. For failing. I was angry, she continued. I thought you didn't love me anymore. I thought I had to fight for what was mine. But you didn't deserve that. Now she was crying. Real tears, maybe. I miss you, she whispered. I miss our life. I just want to talk. Maybe start over. I know I made mistakes, but I finally cut her off. No. She went quiet. No second chances, I said calmly. You burned every bridge and then danced in the fire. Now you're cold, and you want me to give you warmth. Not anymore. But I loved you, know, Rebecca. You loved what I gave you. The money. The house. The safety net. Not me. Because if you ever truly loved me, you wouldn't have done what you did. Silence. Heavy, broken silence. I'm not angry anymore, I said. And that's what makes this goodbye permanent. I hung up. And blocked the number. The next few weeks, she tried every method: emails, messages through friends, even writing a handwritten letter she left in my mailbox. Each one said the same thing in a different font: please take me back. She promised to change. Said she'd get therapy. Said she was lost and confused. Tried reminding me of old memories, of good times, of the version of her I used to love. But the truth was simple: that version of her died the day she chose Michael over me. And I wasn't going to resurrect it. One night, nearly a month later, she showed up at my front door. Hair tangled. Makeup streaked. Thin. Not the proud woman who once smirked while handing me divorce papers. This was someone who had been humbled by life. I just want 5 minutes, she begged. Please. I stepped outside and closed the door behind me. She looked up, hopeful. And I gave her nothing. I want you to look at this house, I said. Everything inside it, the life I offered you, is gone to you. Forever. Sam, I'm begging you. I gave you loyalty. You gave me betrayal. I gave you love. You gave me lies. I gave you a future. You tried to rob me blind. Tears fell down her cheeks, but I didn't flinch. You lost me the day you thought I was weak enough to be played. Then I walked back inside. And locked the door. She stayed there for a while. I heard the sobs through the window. Then silence. When I looked out again, she was gone. That was the last time I ever saw her.